Okay, this is for lesson 4.3. It's on using formulas. We're going to do formulas for sequences. So in order to do the formulas, there are two types that we have. We have an explicit formula and a recursive formula. So an explicit formula is a formula that calculates each term using the term's position in the sequence. So the term's position in the sequence. This is an explicit formula.
Shout out to my mom.
This is an index, the index. So the index is the position of a term in a sequence, and I'll talk about that in just a little second. Then the other one is recursive. So a recursive formula. So it expresses each term of a sequence based on the preceding term. So in other words, recursive formula, you can get one thing from the next one. So like, what do you do to the last term to get the next one? So like you times by 5 or whatever, like each time. So that's all you would do. Or you add 4, like that would be the recursive formula. The index, so this is what the index is. We will always use A's for arithmetic ones especially. A's, and then you'll have like a number down here. It's called a subscript. So it's kind of like an exponent. An exponent is a superscript, but it's small and it's a little bit lower than the letter. That's called a subscript. Like as far as general, if you're ever writing anything, that's called a subscript. But specifically, this is the index. So if you look down here, the 20 down here means the 20th term. Does that make sense? So we have a couple different things that we do here with this. So these formulas, this is one formula, and we're instead of taking notes on this, and if you want to move it into your notebook, you can. This is the formula for an arithmetic sequence. So we're going to have a recursive and explicit for both arithmetic and geometric. So this is the explicit formula for arithmetic. So a sub 1, so I want you to put up here A with a little 1, we say that A sub 1. I want you guys to practice saying it. Say A sub 1.
A sub 1.
A sub 1 means the first term. And then we already know what D is. That's the common difference. And then basically N would be the term number. Term number. The index / the index. So here's our sequence on number 1, 1, 4, 7. And we're supposed to find the 20th term. So we start it just like we did the last lesson. So we're going to do 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So that's my D, right? And I can see that 1 is my first term. So so instead of A sub N, I put A sub 20 because it was my 20th term I wanted to find. 1 was my first term. 3 is my difference. 20 is the term that we wanted. We wanted the 20th term, and then the formula just always has minus 1s. You put minus 1 right there. Then 20 minus 1 is 19. 3 times 19 is 57. 1 plus 57 is 58. So the 20th term is 58. Question?
How did we get 4 minus 1?
Because the second term was 4. The first term was 1.
There, I missed those.
Yeah. So let's do,
2.
sure, let's do 2. So first, I'm going to find, I'm going to write down the formula. A sub n is equal to A sub 1 plus D times by n minus 1. And then over here on the side, I'm going to find the D. D is equal to the second term, which is negative 15, minus the first term, which is negative 10. What is negative 15 minus negative 10?
Negative 35.
Negative 5.
Negative 5.
Wait, oh.
Because you're at a negative, and then minus a negative would be like adding. So negative 15 plus 10 is negative 5. And then while we're at it, let's just write down what is our A sub 1.
Wait, Miss Plumber.
What is our first term?
I thought when you did negative 15.
You always minus the first term. Second term minus the first term. Since the first term was negative 10, we did negative 15 minus negative 10.
Oh,
Does that make a little bit more sense?
yeah.
Good question, thank you.
Parentheses.
Okay, and then a sub 1 would be the first term, and that's negative 10. Now we're going to plug things in. Oh, and then what is our n? What n does it want us to find?
30.
30. So we're just going to put 30 right there. So then we write this now. A with a little 30, so a sub 30, is equal to, now what was a sub 1?
Negative 10
Negative 10
minus 5
plus
plus,
negative 5
oh yeah,
times by 30, because that was our n, minus 1. And then 30 minus 1 is what? Actually, if you wanted to, you could type this in exactly like this in your calculator, and it would tell you the answer. Or you can do it piece by piece. Did you already get it, Isaac?
Yeah.
What'd you get? Oh, question first.
Why does it have a -1?
Because it's always, the minus 1 means the one before.
How do
You
get
take
a
the
sub
one
15?
before.
Wait.
It just sets up the formula.
Yeah, it sets up the formula. N minus 1, and it'll make a little bit more sense when we do the recursive ones. But yeah, it's taking the one before. Because if we were just to take n, like the first term plus negative 5, so basically the number minus 5, and then times it by 30, you'd get the next one instead of the 30th one.
Okay.
So that one keeps it so you're on the 30th one.
Okay.
Okay.
making sense, yeah.
So then you can just type it in your calculator, which I recommend doing. So negative 10, you can even do plus parentheses negative 5,
Whoa.
parentheses 30 minus 1. And your graphing calculators should look almost exactly like this when you're doing it. And then you should get negative 155. So that means that the 30th term is 155.
Let's do through the-
So all this is plugging numbers in. So you figure out what these D, A sub 1, and N are, and then plug them in. Yeah,
So could you just distribute the -5 to 30 and the 1 and then distribute?
yeah,
it from there?
yep, you totally could distribute the negative 5 into both of them, and then just go straight across. I personally prefer typing this entire thing in my calculator, and then you don't have to worry about distributing, you don't have to worry about subtracting. Like basically plug the numbers in, type it in your calculator, and you're done. Question?
How many can we skip?
So let's see, there are 10 again, and so you can skip again 2 in each section. So let's do,
You can have.
let's do another one. Let's do one on the back here. Let's do, number 7. So I'm gonna come over here, and the D is negative 70.9 minus negative 76.2. So that's the nice thing, is you can just type in your calculator, right? You don't have to be like, I don't understand what's happening. So negative 76.2 minus, oh no, just kidding, 70.9 is what I should have put there, 70.9, then minus 76.2, oh, negative 76.2. Man, I'm having finger dyslexia today. Okay, and then like that. So you get 5.3. So that's going to be 5.3. And then I know that my first term is negative 76.2, and that I'm supposed to, the n is 34, because I want to find the 34th one. And now we just plug those in.
Aha.
So-
Isn't it -1?
Well, we haven't plugged any numbers in yet. Just the plain n is still 34. In the formula, you will put the minus 1 in there. So a sub 34 is equal to negative 76.2. And then plus our d, are we supposed to do plus? Yeah. Plus d, which is 5.3, times by 34 minus 1. And you can just type it in your calculator exactly like that. So negative 76.2 plus 5.3 parentheses 34 minus 1 close parentheses. If you just want to do 34 minus 1, always one less, you can. And I got 98.7. So that means that the 34th term is equal to 98.7. Okay. Yeah.
Isn't the 5 supposed to be negative, so it's going negative each time?
So actually, you are at the deep negatives, and then you're going closer to 0. Good eye though for watching that and double checking. So the question was, shouldn't the 5.3 be negative since they're in the negatives? And the answer is no, because they're actually increasing. Okay. You can skip 2 in each section. The next part is very similar. You're just going to find these types of numbers and plug them into the formula.
Can I do one?
Do you want me to give you some time to work on
Yeah.
these things first? I'll give you like 2 minutes.